got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. I only got one thing on my mind. You got me stuck on the thought of you. You're making me feel brand new. You're more than a sunshine in my eyes. I'm feeling like this might be my time to shine with you, with you, with you. I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes.
Hi, welcome to In the Middle and Out of the Box, episode 30. I can't believe it's already been 30. So first I'd like to say, please subscribe, please like, please email me comments, questions to inthemiddlebdh@gmail.com. The more interaction and participation that we get, the more we'll keep doing these episodes. I need to know that you guys are watching and listening. So again, subscribe, like, send me some emails, and we're good to go. So today, episode 30, we're going to be doing a lot of things. There's some exciting news coming down the pike. So actually, Boca Raton is actually thinking about and going to be doing for workforce housing, which is fantastic. Finally, we have some workforce housing, hopefully on the horizon. So we're really going to take an in-depth dive of that. I've got lots of designs to show you. They recently had a council meeting, so we're going to go through all of that. We're also going to talk about updates with Highland Beach and Delray, and we're also going to be doing, our normal art and technology. And I don't know if some of you have noticed, but the last couple of episodes I've been kind of adding in social awareness, kindness, those kinds of things. I think that's really important right now, kind of just to give us all a moment of kindness and thinking about things. So I've been adding that in too. So I consider it social awareness. So I hope you're going to enjoy the show today. So let's start off, first of all, with Highland Beach. We're going to do the smaller towns first. So Highland Beach. Okay, so they just recently had their commission meeting, and as I mentioned in one of my previous episodes, the big hot topic in Highland Beach right now is Mizner Park, right? So just to recap very quickly, Palm Beach County owns this park. Highland Beach originally passed on it when it was offered to them many years ago, and it's been sitting dormant, and Palm Beach County has now brought it forward, and it was actually green lighted to start being developed. Well, this is really at the detriment of most Highland Beachers. They don't want that park developed. And basically what happened is they finally had a meeting and sat down with the new representative in the Palm Beach County Commission, Marcy Woodward, and also, I guess, the head of the head of Palm Beach County Parks, and had this, couple hours of a meeting, and basically there's like letting Highland Beach know there's going to be a park. We're firm on that. There's no negotiation and so forth. So I don't think Highland Beach was very happy about that. One of the things they did come up with that Palm Beach County did tell Highland Beach was that they were going to model what they're going to be doing in Highland Beach with their park. Now, you have to remember there's a parcel on the west side of A1A, and then there's the parcel on the east side of A1A for the beachfront and the beach access. So they did state to them that they were going to be modeling this park in Highland Beach after Ocean Hammock Park in Ocean Ridge. So I wanted to kind of show that real quick for people to know kind of what it's going to look like in Highland Beach when it is developed. Again, this is very preliminary, but this is what's being tossed around right now, that it's going to be modeled after Ocean Hammock. So first thing I want to talk about show you is this would be the west side. There's going to be a parking lot on the west side of the property of A1A, and we don't know how many spaces so far. Originally it was 100, then it was 50, now it's 40. I don't know, but this is basically what it's going to look like, just a very simple parking lot on the west side of A1A. There's going to be a crossover or crosswalk to walk across for the beach access, and then there's going to be, as you can see here, there's just basically a boardwalk that is there. I mean, it's not a developed park at all. It's basically just an access point to the beach. So people would park, walk across, and then basically just go to the beach. There's no other facilities or anything else. So I know that one of the issues was, Highland Beach mentioned that they didn't really want there not to be facilities. If you're going to put a park there, they don't want people using the restroom or, just out in wherever. So that was one of the issues. They were very concerned about the security, right? So again, Highland Beach is not used to having any kind of public access to their beaches. So they're very concerned about the security of the beach. So that was discussed. But this is basically the hot topic. But I wanted to update you guys on, they did have a final or meeting with the county commissioner for that representation in Highland Beach. And it's again green lighted. And it's going, but most importantly, the news is that it's going to be modeled after Ocean Hammock in Ocean Ridge. So anybody can Google that, you'll see it, and you'll get an idea of what it's going to look like. Okay, Delray, really not too many updates. The 133rd South development road issue, that's been kind of a hot topic in Delray. It was passed after the first reading. It was a 4-1 vote. Again, if you're in Delray and you want something different, you have to make sure that you're voting for people to be on the commission that align with what you want. So the real issue here is the width of the road. In addition to that, they just gave away their right-of-way to the road, which I, for the life of me, can't understand, because the city should never be giving away their right-of-way. So I don't understand what that's about, why they're doing that, and instead they put easements in place. So again, when you're diminishing the power of the city over the right-of-way and only putting in easements, it really takes a lot of the power away from the city for what they might need it for in the future or whatever. So again, really bad move. But what's really concerning is there was so much controversy about this, and all the Facebook groups and everything was going crazy. And then I think it was only 3 or 4 residents actually showed up to the meeting. And this seems to be the consistent problem in Delray, right? As far as what we had talked about in prior episodes, that only 13 or 14%-ish of people in Delray vote. So again, the mantra that I always say is, if you're going to complain, first question is, did you vote? And if you did vote, then you need to vote for someone different. So here's another example of that, where there was just this total uproar about 133rd South, and there was only 3 or 4 people that actually came to the meeting to present, as far as they're just not being happy about it. The next thing that happened in Delray was they did extend and refund their TNR CAP program, which is tag, neuter, release. There's a lot of issues with that. A lot of people, I don't think, mind the program. I think obviously they want to be humane about it and try to help these cats. The problem is the feedings, right? So the feedings can't be done on public property. So they can only be done on private property. And a lot of the homeowners are getting upset because wherever they're feeding them, it's not just cats that are coming to feed off of this cat food or whatever they're using, and they're getting a lot of rodents and everything else. So there seems to be an issue with where they're feeding the cats that needs to be worked out. And then the last update is the golf course. So again, more energy and effort put towards the golf course, more discussion. Basically, at the last minute, I guess, the mayor received a phone call from an investor or somebody that said that they were willing to put the $15 to $20 million in the course to fix the water and the pipes and the greens, not the clubhouse. But in exchange for running the golf course operations for X number of years to obviously get their money back out and so forth, which on the onset sounds like a good plan if that comes to fruition. But then again, right away, some of the commissioners came in and was like, well, we have to have residents have to have discounted rates or no rates or low rates. It's kind of the same thing that happened with Old School Square, right? They wanted somebody to come in and put all these improvements in the buildings and get them back up to snuff and updated and everything else, but they didn't want to really give them any part of it. So it's like you can't expect people to come in and not get their money back and also make some profit on that. It's not about, this isn't a nonprofit that's coming in here to want to redo the greens or the golf course. So you have to give them something. There has to be some motivation, some incentive to do that. So, I'm just concerned because it sounds like they're going down the same exact path where they wanted everybody to come in and do Old School Square. And then, but they didn't want to really give them anything out of it except, well, you have to pay to repair this or replace this or do this or whatever. And that's why they didn't really get many people. Also, that was another reason why. So anyway, hopefully this will come to fruition. Hopefully they'll get somebody in from the outside Delray Beach needs desperately a negotiator. Using an attorney, using a town managers or city managers really not working out well. So I would suggest severely that they get a outside negotiator to, if this offer is real and it's coming, to fruition, that they get it to a actual negotiator on board. That would be my suggestion based on prior history. So that's kind of what's going on with Delray. Okay, so let's talk about Boca Raton. Okay, so the update for Boca is, again, great news. The old Ocean Breeze golf course is they just recently approved the Boca Parks District, the Boca Paddle Club. Okay, so this is the proposed design. It's going to have, I think, 14 courts inside, and it's a $14.5 million facility. They're going to have 14 pickleball courts, 2 courts for paddle, which is, I guess, another sport similar to pickleball, ball, and food and beverage. It will also feature 8 outdoor courts, 2 outdoor paddle courts, and a 2-story viewing area and locker rooms. So this space will also be designed to serve as a public shelter in case of a hurricane or whatever. So you guys are going to be getting your indoor pickleball courts, which is fantastic. So they're also planning a aquatic complex, Olympic-sized aquatic complex in this area. It's going to be this big recreational park area. And so you guys are really, moving forward, trying to really think ahead. This is a great idea. The only thing we need to work on, like we talked about last time, is how do we get to these places, right? We need the roads to have real bike lanes, real walkways, real lanes for freebies and circuits or whatever. So that needs to be fixed. But this is great news. So that's the update for Boca. I want to show you just briefly where it's going to be. It's going to be at the end of Jeffrey Street. So Jeffrey Street is actually going to be going through all the way to the east side, I think to touch Dixie. And so once that's established, they're going to be putting it there right on the, I guess, the southeast corner. So that's where this is going to be. Okay, so workforce housing. So what's really interesting here is they just recently said to everybody, we know we have to get some workforce housing. And we talked again about what workforce housing is. Just very briefly, it's up to 140% of the median income of Palm Beach County, which is over $100,000 for a salary. It's your nurses, your teachers, your police, your fire, and so forth. And they should be able to live in the town that they're servicing. So they understand they need to. And so they had a big meeting about this. And what they did is they asked a bunch of investors that are known to Boca Raton to come in with projects that they want to do, but show us what they look like with 10%. They started out as 10% base of workforce housing. So all these investors came in, and we're going to go through real quick each one of the projects. I want to make sure I give you guys, at least a taste of what they showed. And basically what happened is as the conversation, and I do want to give kudos to Fran Nacklis. She was fantastic. Her and I have discussed workforce housing and the difference between affordable workforce housing and so forth so many times. She's a pro at this point. And, she really pushed forward. I mean, she said, let's have 15%. I don't feel, a lot of the commissioners didn't feel comfortable with only 10%. It's not really giving them the output that they're looking for as far as being able to make a dent in the need for workforce housing. So she, along with the other council members, but I do want to give her kudos, she put through the 15%. And so now they're discussing 15% and asked the developers to all come back, with these projects, just upping their numbers in the workforce housing area for 15%. So you're going to see a lot of numbers on the slides that I'm going to show you. These are their slides. So they have only the 10%, but I just want to make sure you guys all understand that it is going to be going up to hopefully 15%. That's the current discussion. So let's carry on. So again, the developers asked to present projects with 10% minimum, but again, it's going to be later raised to 15%, and they've been asked to come back with those revised numbers and how the projects look. What you'll see is as we go through these projects, which is really interesting, there's a lot of village versions, okay, which is kind of like the 15-minute city, but on a smaller scale. So what they're trying to do is make these developments self-sufficient, as far as food and beverage, commercial space. A lot of them are going to have their own freebie or circuit, EV vehicles, to shuttle people around downtown, uptown, all around town, which is fantastic. One of them actually has even a protected bike lane, which is great. They're going to be green buildings. And what I noticed too in a lot of the designs is they're having a lot of community space, right? A lot of open space, a lot of community space, a lot of amenities. And I think this is kind of like an offshoot of also the quality of life. But after the pandemic, a lot of people, are looking for more space, like community space, and not everybody's on top of each other. So it seems like in a lot of these projects, that's what they've done. So really good news there. So first, let's start with Office Depot Village, right? So this is the proposed design. And basically what they're doing is they're making it more of a courtyard. So they're going to be putting buildings all along Military Trail. And then they're also going to be building 2 residential stacks in the south part of the building and taking down the office building in the south. And they're going to have 50% food and beverage, 499 total residential units, 45,000 square feet of commercial space, 50% retail, 50% food and beverage. And again, this was based on the 10% originally, but it will be up to 15%. They had planned 50 workforce units. So this is just kind of a design plan of the floor plan. This is where the site is located. It's at the corner of Clintmore and Military on the southeast corner. Now, this is the next plan. Okay, so this is the APOC Mutual of America headquarters, the current building. Again, this is, in Broken Sound area. So this is the proposed plan, the actual footprint of the plan, of what they're trying to do here. They're going to be building a new office building. And then what they're going to be doing is building residential. So this is the actual office building that they're going to be building for the new headquarters, to replace the old one that was built, in the 80s, whatever. And then this is going to be the attached residential units, which is nice to see. Very, again, open, airy. They've got a lake in there. They've got courts in there. They've got a pool, lots of green space. So, again, they're going to have, 275 units. Again, they're going to have a little over, this was the original plan, again, 10.2, but it's going to go up to 15% workforce housing. And I think it's a really nice improvement. A lot of that area has a lot of land attached to these buildings back in the day. And so that, it's nice that they're actually adding a lot of this as part of community space, which is really nice to see. So that's going to be that. And they showed kind of what they were planning on doing as far as what the market rent is versus they put affordable, but it's really workforce housing. So just looking at a 1-bedroom, the market-based rent for that area, that size and so forth, they're looking at $28.87, but they would be offered at $21.43. And they went down the line, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and so forth. So, again, there hopefully is going to be more of them because they're going to be going up to 15% as far as workforce housing. Okay, now this is another interesting project. This is Boca Village, right? So another village. And basically it's going to be, the project site's going to be all around the Tri-Rail station. Right now it's just this massive parking lot against the Tri-Rail station. And this is becoming very, very popular to build these developments right near commuting trail lines, especially now, that this is the Tri-Rail line. But again, we have Bright Line and so forth now too. And so this is the actual area where it's going to be. And again, here's the footprint for it. 340 total residential units. Again, only 10% here, but again, we'll be going up to 15 workforce units. Food and beverage is going to be all on the first floor because, again, they want people to come off of the train, be able to get something to eat or whatever. So they're going to be having 27,000 square feet in commercial use and food and beverage on the first floor. So again, great concept, really needed for that area. This again is kind of giving you a little bit more filling in of what's going on there besides just the actual map. This is an actual design of it. So you can see the Tri-Rail off to the right there. They're going to be having transportation loops there. I think Boca Village also mentioned that they were going to be having their own shuttle service. So again, this freebie circuit shuttle service. I know that some of the I think it was Councilman Wigder mentioned that he'd really like to see dedicated bike lanes and more actual walkways and freebie lanes and things like that, as far as integrated into the design. And but this is how the building's going to look. And this is actually looking at it from Yamato. So this is the other side of it, not on the tri-rail side. So this is looking at it from Yamato. Okay, now this is really an interesting project, and actually probably one of the most impressive that we just saw. So I want you to take a minute here and really listen to this because this is interesting. So this is actually Glades Plaza, not the first set of buildings that are on Glades, but right behind that, there's another whole set of buildings there. And what they're going to do is they're going to make this almost like a little miniature, again, village, city, whatever you want to call it. And it's just amazing the amount of green space and amenities and space in general that they're putting on this. I actually have a video, so I'm going to show you a video. They showed this at the public meeting, so it's public record. And they also said they were also going to, in another phase, actually pop out that first front section onto Glades Road. So it's going to be a continuation of the project. So that's interesting. It's going to actually eventually have frontage on Glades Road. But for this project right now, it's just for this second set behind the section on Glades Road. So this is going to be a massive project. And it's basically a block long. It's going to take a whole block, and they're going to be developing the whole thing. And this is just, again, just some designs real quick. There's going to be a lot of ingress and egress all throughout the project, different entrances, lots of greenery, lots of living walls, lots of, again, community space, amenities. And so I'm going to let you see the video. Hang on, take a look at it. When it first starts, it kind of shows you the outsides of the building, which I think is important. But as it goes on, it actually starts showing you like the interior as far as the courtyards and the green space and the amenities and things like that. So just hang on. It's only about a minute and a half long. It's pretty interesting to see. So hopefully you'll watch it. Okay, then after that, I hope you guys liked it. Then after that is the Boca Center. So now this is where, this is over on Military where the old Joseph's used to be before it moved to the town center. And basically, you have the Marriott all the way in the back, and you have all the restaurants and so forth. And so basically, what they're saying is, look, we already have retail, we have office space, we have hotel, but we don't have any residential. And I guess there's a whole parcel that's just empty and not developed. So what they're looking to do is they're looking to make a residential area in that same section. Again, it kind of incorporate the city, like everything kind of being right there. So like you have this whole center again, village, whatever. They did state that they will be offering an EV shuttle service. And again, a Brightline, freebie or circuit. So again, I'm so encouraged to see these developers kind of getting it. Now we just need to get the staff to get it in Boca. That would be great. Okay. So it seems like the developers are ahead of what the city staff is planning. So it's kind of interesting. So, but anyway, so the EV shuttle service, they said they're going to have, they're actually going to have, I don't think I have a total unit count. I think it's 296. So again, at 10%, it was going to be like 30 units. But again, they're going to be going up to 15. And so it's going to be a great, great add to this little area. This is actually the design for Boca Center for the residential units. Again, big spaces, transportation. They talk about, why is it so important for Boca Center to be developed? And they talked about, kind of the 15-minute city and what's around there and how important it is for this area to also be developed too, and how close proximity it is to so many different things. Okay, so that was the end of the buildings. I hope you stuck through me. I just wanted to make sure that you guys got a little taste of what was shown. And there's a lot of exciting things happening, and I'm just ecstatic that Workforce Housing Boca is finally moving forward on for all our nurses and, firemen and police officers and teachers. And again, it might be a small amount at first, even with these 6 or 7 projects. I think it was only going to be 194 or like around 200 units, but at least it's a start, right? So let's get this started, especially at the 15% one will help more. And so we're going to move on quickly to Mizner Park. So they're going for a refresh here. They're going to have it painted. And the request from the council was to have it painted to match the Boca Art Museum, which has been recently, painted recently to the, the pink, the light pink, whatever. And the Mizner Park is still in this like Tuscany color, whatever. And although, we had talked about in a prior episode, they're going to be redoing Mizner Park and tearing everything down. Obviously, that's going to be, I think, not starting until 2025 or around that time. So it's going to be a few years. And in the meantime, their concern was, that we still have to maintain these buildings. And I guess they're peeling and not looking good. So they are going to be painting this building. And again, they want to try to match it to the Boca Art Museum. So they were given 2 options. So option 1 was painted pink to match the museum with just white accents. You can kind of see that in the tower. And then option 2 was painted white with having pink accents in the tower and other areas as far as trim. So the council looked at everything and decided that they liked option 2 better, that the Mizner Park itself would be considered the white buildings or the white, even though they have some pink trim, and Boca Art is mostly pink, so that they would be incorporated, but at least people would be able to determine which buildings they needed to go to if someone has to meet me at the white building or the pink building. So they went with the option 2, which is the white building with pink trim. So I thought that was kind of nice, and kind of brings back, the Boca of the 80s with the, all the mauve and everything. So it's kind of interesting. Here's a better picture of that, of what they chose. Okay, so we're going to move into, I figured I'd probably give this a headline now. I've been doing it for the last couple episodes, and I don't know if anybody's really noticed, but I'm really trying to have a couple of these feel-good moments, kindness moments, that kind of thing. I think we all could use that right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is, it's amazing how sometimes we don't really realize how differently especially men and women, have to deal with things, right? So I just want to show this because it might make a lot of people step back for a minute and think, yeah, I never knew that, or I didn't realize that, or, I didn't realize to that extent. So I'm going to show this video. It's a social exercise between men and women. I just thought it was kind of interesting, and take a look.
We asked a woman and a man the same questions, and this was their response.
Would you go for a run in the dark on your own?
No, unfortunately not.
Definitely. Do you cross the road to get out of the way of a group of men?
Yes, always.
No. Do you get scared to go for a walk on your own?
Yes,
No. Do you hate walking past building sites?
always.
I don't. Would you take the quickest route home even if that involves an alleyway?
No, I'd probably go the longer way to avoid it.
Yes. Do you hold your keys in your hands as you walk on your own?
Yes.
No. Do you get told to smile more from strangers?
Yeah.
No. Have you ever been catcalled walking down the street?
Every damn day.
Yes. In a good way. I have, though.
Okay, this next one is really just unbelievable. So this man and woman are walking by with their I guess their child in this carriage, and they see this man having a very, very hard day, and he's very obviously upset, and this is really bothering this woman. It's just so upsetting to her, but she continues to walk with her husband and the child in the carriage, and she finally just uses her instincts and she uses her intuition, and she turns around and she lets her husband and child keep continuing on. She turns around to try to go talk to this gentleman, and she winds up saving his life. So it's, again, use that instinct, use that intuition. When somebody is in need, maybe we can help them in some small way. So take a look at this, and it's just kind of inspirational. I wanted to share it. Okay, so science and technology and art today, I will admit, is very eclectic today. I usually try to stick to a theme, but it's kind of like all over the place. So just bear with us. Hopefully you'll see something that you like. Okay, so first thing I thought was really cute, which I never even noticed, was what type of foot you have, right? So they have Greek, Roman, Celtic, Germanic, and Egyptian. So this was really interesting because, it gives you guys a chance to kind of say, where's my ancestry, right? Where am I coming from, right? So I happen to be Roman, I guess. So that's where my ancestry was. Kind of makes sense. And so anyway, so it's just something cute, something fun. I just thought I'd throw it in here real quick for science and technology. Okay, this is a really nice video. Now, this has kind of been out for a while, like where they have the stars and the LED, but now they have like flashing, shooting stars. And, this is like really doing a good job of this. So the starlight ceiling was just amazing. And this isn't only just for a bedroom. I mean, you could have it in any kind of room. So I just thought this was kind of neat. You could have it under like a porch outside, out on your patio, whatever. So take a look at this. Again, it's just something kind of fun.
I sit by myself, talking to the moon, trying to get to you.
Okay, so this is a communication board, and it's not just for autism, but it's for anybody, right? And if you think about our parks, right? How great it would be to have these communication boards for autism and just for children in general, especially toddlers that can't really communicate well. It helps them point to what they need or what they want or whatever, but especially for autism children or people on the spectrum, it's extremely helpful, especially for children because, they get frustrated and can't really talk sometimes or not verbal. So again, this is a great thing. And I think we should have it at all of our parks. So just to help even, like I said, other children, toddlers, autism spectrum, whatever, just be able to communicate. So I thought this was a great idea and I wanted to share that. So just watch this.
Is there something you want to do before we leave? The merry-go-round? Okay. And then you're finished? What do you say to the board of Miracle Field for doing this for kids like you? Thank you. This is amazing.
Okay, so now this is going to get a little geeky here. So this is really interesting for all my EV people that really want an EV. So it's pouring rain like it normally does here in Florida. And this woman actually summons her car on, I guess, her app or on her phone or whatever. Pouring rain. She starts up her car. The car starts coming over to her. And as she's underneath, an overhang or whatever, staying dry. And the car comes over to her. So I'm like, we could really use this in Florida. This is fantastic, right? So it's amazing technology and where it's going. So for all those, people that say, I don't want an EV car, watch this. You'll want this. So take a look.
Oh my god. This is hilarious. Okay, it is driving to us by itself. Come this way, I want to get a video of it. Is it going to turn? Oh my god, it's turning by itself. Come here, Steve. There's no one in the car. This car's stopping for it. Oh my god. I can't even.
Okay, then I just saw this. Now, this they've had this kind of for a while. They've had like these closets that steam your clothes or whatever, but this is like on steroids, right? So this actually can like sanitize your shoes, which is so important with, viruses out there and everything else. And so I saw this and I was like, this is like the newest rendition and it's just like over and beyond, right? So I was like, every house should have this, right? I mean, what a great idea. So take a look and hopefully you'll like it.
I have no idea how this product isn't viral yet, and no, it's not just a mirror. It's called the Air Dresser, and it's one of Samsung's coolest products. Basically, instead of having to go to the dry cleaner, you can use this instead. Let me show you some of the best ways to use it. So for clothes like delicate sweaters, dress shirts, or that shirt that you literally wore once and didn't sweat in at all so you don't feel like washing it, once you add the Air Dresser to the SmartThings app on your phone, you can choose from a ton of custom settings. Just choose your setting, tap Send to Air Dresser, it receives your settings, you run it, boom, clothes refresh. But wait, what were all those other really cool features on the SmartThings app? I'm so glad you asked. Shoes, toys, you can sanitize them. Just go back in the SmartThings app, select the toys setting, boom, bop, bow. Oh. Seriously, don't walk, sprint to get this product.
Okay, so this week's art, it's a little bit different too, very eclectic, so stick with me. So this was beautiful. It was a California experience where they put all over all these hills and valleys and everything else, these beautiful lights. And I was like, imagining what it would be like to just be sitting there and just be really kind of just one of those, experiences that, just peaceful. So I just wanted to share that when I saw this.
Explore the world in your way. Create memories that you won't forget. You only live once, so don't waste your time. Please don't waste your time. Don't waste your time.
Okay, now again, being an out of the box kind of girl, when I saw this teacher, and I'm also a teacher, I saw this and I was like, fantastic, right? This teacher says, I'm going to take my class picture, but I'm going to be out of the box, right? So she puts all of them in this little box and they do it with all Photoshop and everything like that. And Anna was sick that day, I guess. So Anna's not there. But I mean, like, what a great teacher, right? To think out of the box like this. The parents loved it. The school loved it. So innovative, something different, right? Rather than everybody just standing there in the classroom picture. And so anyway, I just wanted to share this. Like, again, there's so many things we can do that are out of the box. Okay, next is a beautiful glass sculpture fireplace. Now, I don't know if anybody remembered the last episode or I think it was the episode before where I had that stunning artwork in glass. I guess it was glass, and it was in Dubai. And when I saw this, I was like, this is a real working fireplace. And I was like, it's sculpture that works as a fireplace, right? It's glass, tempered, I'm sure. And it's just beautiful, right? Could you imagine having something like that in your home? It's gorgeous. There's some different color variations, different styles, but again, just gorgeous, gorgeous. So I wanted to show this. And then I wanted to show how sometimes we don't even realize, that art is right around us, right? So my husband and I were looking for pictures to put up on the wall. And, I happened to come across this. And I was like, this is fantastic. I mean, like, how nice it is that there was art like this right around us. This is from Miami Beach. I don't know if they're still there or not, but I was like, it's just gorgeous to look at all the different colors. And it's just, again, I wanted to share this with you guys when I saw it. And then this I love. I've shown a couple pictures like this. And one I think was coming out of like a Mini Cooper putting the moon in the trunk. This one is Please Pass the Sun to Me. And again, somebody passing the sun. I thought that was really innovative and out of the box, kind of thinking again for art. Okay, so the last two things I'm going to show you for art are going to actually take some interaction, right? So this is really interesting, so bear with me. So what you're going to do is you're going to stare at that spinning circle for 20 seconds. Make sure it's a full 20 seconds, okay? And then what you're going to do is look at the picture, right? Starry Night. And it's going to be amazing what happens, okay? So trust me on this. If you want to have some fun, stare at the circle for 20 seconds, a full 20 seconds, and then look at the picture of Starry Night. So enjoy. Okay, I hope you guys were amazed by that too. I think that's pretty great. Okay, so what's so funny is I had this Starry Night episode that I just showed you before, and lo and behold, what pops up? Another amazing illusion. So this again is really interesting. So watch this video, and it's amazing what happens. So I hope you enjoy this too. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that too. Again, please subscribe. Please like as many likes as you can. Please tell your friends, share with your friends. I have putting a lot on Facebook. I do have a lot in Boca groups and some Delray groups. If you see something, please send it off to your friends also. And again, you can always email me with comments, suggestions, anything you'd like. in the middle, BDH for Boca Delray Highland Beach at gmail.com. And I'm going to end with my art, as I always do. Again, living on the beach, I always like to end with my pictures. So again, have a nice week or two. We're going to come back again when we have some more information. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend or week, whatever this lands on. And have a great day.